Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. Critically harsh reviews with a touch of class.
Go. Uh-oh.
Welcome.
Let's see. Did I lose you?
Sorry. It took me a second. I had emptied my lungs. I've been practicing deep breathing. And so when you said go, I had emptied all the air out of my lungs. So I had to take a massive breath in. I practice deep breathing in times of respiratory infections and distress, as should everyone. I'm not a doctor. This is Jerry, the star of the show. Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. Who's talking? Is that you?
Don't make me mute you. I read you dispel most of your fat by breathing.
So we did a poll one time amongst medical professionals.
Some baby breathing to do.
Yeah, they asked, when you burn fat, where does it go? And there were many. Yeah, like when you're burning fat, where does it go? And everyone's like, well, you pee it out. I was like, no. And they're like, well, doesn't it just disappear? It's like, no, you breathe it out. It gets converted. And that's something a lot of people don't know, is that your respiratory tract, all that it does for you and how it controls your blood pressure and how it, everything about it. But no, I watched.
I've been working out, eating right, and I could have just been breathing hard.
Breathing hard? No, that's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
Nope.
All right, boys
you still
and girls,
got to burn
here we go.
said fat. That adipose tissue is not going to be breathed out. It's not like one day you just start coughing up and you just cough up 4 pounds worth of fat.
Crisco. That's where Crisco comes from.
What's that? Is it the cat? No, it's Gobby. He's in the bathroom coughing up a fat ball.
Put it in the pan, fried up.
You just start coughing up cheese whiz or cheese. Well, this is terrible. This is a Board Game Snobs podcast.
Yummy.
This is not the actual podcast. This is not our 100th episode. This is, in fact, our social isolation episode. I'm not looking at Gobby. I'm nowhere near him. I'm 55 miles away from him. I'm 1,000 miles from nowhere.
Would you walk 500 miles?
I would. But I don't think I've ever walked 500 miles intentionally.
Would you walk 500 more?
No. I think if I walked 500 miles, I would give up. I don't think I could do it.
If I walked 500 miles, I would not have to worry about breathing out my fat. I would have just walked 500 miles.
No, I'm pretty sure a hitchhiker would have picked me up, and I would be murdered somewhere. Don't hitchhike, but breathe deeply. That's the point of our PSA this morning.
Take a breath.
Take deep breaths. This is a podcast about board games, but since we're socially isolated and we're having difficulty playing board games, we are going to talk about solo games. But before we do that, a word from our sponsor. Okay, thank you. All right, Gobby, go ahead. What's your banter?
There are certain words you're used to using that you may not realize. They're portmanteaus.
They're portmanteaus?
Portmanteaus? Portmanteaus?
Are they like potatoes? How do you spell that?
Portmanteaus.
Portmanteau.
The merging.
That's a large trunk.
Yes, but the more modern term is it's the merging of two words, such as brunch.
Oh, it is.
Such as email. Did you know podcast is a portmanteau?
It is.
For iPod plus broadcast. Yelp is a portmanteau. Yellow pages plus help. Smog, breathalyzer, bromance. You've heard of these? Sitcoms?
I've heard of all these.
Cyborg. Ooh, cyborg. Cybernetic organism. What about spam? Did you know spam was a portmanteau?
It's yeah, and I can't think of what it is. It's something with the email, but the spam part.
Spiced plus ham.
Yes, spy ham.
Well, actually, I guess this is not the spam email. This is like the spam, like the actual spam.
Spy ham. Did you say spy ham?
Spiced.
Oh, I thought you said spice. When you said spy ham, I thought like a pig that was like super clandestine. Like this pig. Where is
007
Where's
Porky Pig?
Where's Wilbur? Nobody knows.
Spy.
Nobody's gonna get my bacon.
What's your name? Bond. James Bond.
Portmanteau sounds like, when I look at the word, it looks like somebody who works at a port and has plateaued. It's like he's not getting any better at his job.
You're
Portmanteau.
done. You've reached the top, son. You've portmanteaued. Well, the first thing I thought of was, of course, Natalie Portman and being obsessed with her feet.
I love Natalie Portman.
Of course, you can look up anybody on the internet and you look them up. And then the next thing is going to be something related to their feet, because there's lots of interesting people out there. Hey, we don't judge, but I
judge harshly.
So I was like, oh, I got to do something with Natalie Portmanteaus, right? Natalie Portmanteaus. And I thought that. So then I look it up, and there's already a Twitter account called Natalie Portmanteau. I'm like, there's nothing original I can think of that has not already been thought of in life. Music.
There's nothing new under the sun.
There is nothing new. Every song now is getting, sued for having ripped off some other song. Which, I mean, how many different how long has music been around? Thousands and thousands and thousands of years, right? But yet they continue to make new original, melodies? Harmonies? No, melodies.
Melodies.
But how many notes of music are there?
I don't know. I've never taken notes.
It seems like at some point you're gonna use them all up.
I had a historian one time tell me, a historian who was not Dan Thoreau, make an
portmanteau.
Yes, he said, we don't know what the Roman National Anthem was. We don't know what it sounded like. Like, there's a lot of music that was probably war music or just day-to-day melodies that ancient cultures had that we don't know. And it just kind of, it was one of those things where I thought, it'd be really interesting to have a time machine and to go back to the Roman age and hear that music and to find out that it's like Who Let the Dogs Out. It's like it has that tune to something that we've already redone, and think, history has indeed and repeated itself.
Who let Caesar out? Praetorian. Who let Caesar out? Praetorian.
Yes, you've got Cardi B and the Greeks going on, Oh, man, that would be so wrong. I'd have to lie about that. I'd come back and they say, what does it sound like? James Horner. Just James Horner, basically.
Like the Book of Psalms. Isn't that all music?
Yes, but I don't know what the tune would be.
I don't know either.
See, we're not very intelligent, but we do know things off of Wikipedia.
But we will talk no matter what. Twerk, twist and jerk.
Twerking is not a portmanteau.
It is.
Twerking is a blight upon humanity, and we are lesser for knowing that word.
Well, it's out there. It exists, and there's nothing you can do about it.
I really wonder what the social impact is going to be when all these kids today are now old. Their grandmothers and grandfathers are like 80 years old, and social media still exists, and you can look up videos of your grandmother twerking. That is disturbing. Because now when I have pictures of my grandpa when he was in World War II, and I mean, that dude was fly. He had his uniform on. He had that Dapper Dan hair slicked back. And I mean, all the pictures that he had were very dignified and all that. And it's like now, 100 years from now, our pictures are going to be what our great grandkids pull off Facebook. And it's like, oh, here's your mother shotgunning a beer. She loved Pabst Blue Ribbon. And just like,
That's literally all TikTok is. It's just people acting crazy. Doing foolish things, dancing crazily to get them views, get them clicks. We're all about them clicks.
Yes, because we would probably use TikTok to try to get clicks too.
Yeah, it's got to get them clicks. Speaking of getting clicks in the most egregious of ways, it's the most fake and irritating, and it makes me insane with anger to watch this particular type of video on YouTube. Reaction videos.
That is the scum of the earth.
I am watching you watch something to see how you react to it. And it's so fake and overblown and dramatic. just so I can act crazy. I want to act super blown. I was watching. See, I watched them though. That's where.
You know what we should do?
A reaction video to a reaction video.
We need to start doing reaction videos to the review of the what's that review site for board games? A review people. I can't think of their name.
Card shufflers.
Nah, yeah, no, the Dice Tower. The Dice
Oh.
Tower. We need to start doing reaction views. It's just sitting there going, oh,
he dropped all those things on the table. Oh, that's going to be a mess to clean up.
Wild man. Oh, yeah.
I was watching it. I was watching the. I don't know. You go down clicking wormholes on YouTube. Sometimes you just keep clicking
wormholes.
And I was watching
great man.
Clicky Wormhole. Welcome to Clicking Wormholes. What was the other one? Snake something.
A snake rectum.
Snake rectum. Opening for snake rectum. Clicking wormholes. So anyway, I was watching the trailer for the F9 that has now been pushed back one solid year, which breaks my heart. But, the world has shut down. And so I ended up on this guy's reaction video to F9. And okay, if you have seen F1 through 8, there should be nothing that surprises you at this point. People have come back from the dead already. They've done ridiculous, impossible things. But yet this guy acted as if he had never seen this stuff before. No, he didn't. Oh, no. I'm like, nobody does that. Nobody does that when they're watching a video. You're doing that because you're trying to overreact because, people are watching you. It's so fake and it makes me mad.
Well, it violates the principle of it's a known thing in wildlife. When you observe something, you change it.
Wow.
And I just don't like.
Them gorillas knew that Jane Goodman was watching. No, Jane Goodman or Goodall? John Goodman?
She was the... Yeah, not John Goodman. I would pay to watch that. John Goodman out there with
John Goodman reacting to gorillas.
Reacting to gorillas. Wow. I don't know. How do you do an impersonation of John Goodman?
I don't know either. Lose a lot of weight. I wish I could do that impression.
I'm doing my John Goodman impression.
Okay, I'm fixing to start. Here, I'm good.
Good man.
Sierra's. I said Sierra's in the Mist, not Sierra Mist. Gorillas in the Mist. Wasn't that Sigourney Weaver? Who was she playing?
Yeah. She may have been playing Goodall, wasn't she?
Didn't she get killed in the end? Did a gorilla kill her?
No, Goodall's still alive. I don't know. We need to watch Sierra Mist again. I really
Sierra's in the Mist.
A white man can't 7-Up. That was good. I don't care what you say.
Okay.
I want to talk about my solo games. Solo games for which I've been playing because I'm depressed because I can't go to Gubby's house. That's the title of this episode. Games Jerry plays to stave off depression.
Isn't that every game?
That's every game. That's the game of life.
That's the game of life. Keeping yourself distracted from your own mortal demise. Isn't that really everything?
Right. See, everybody doesn't realize that both me and Gabby, myself and Gabby and I said that 3 different times, are essential workers. Gabby is hauling rocks so that the roads can be rocked upon. And
apparently
I'm taking care of sick people.
Apparently it's essential to life that somebody get this dirt.
Yes. It's essential. And right now, my job is basically going around yelling at people to stay indoors. Like, that's my job, is going around saying, no, don't drink bleach.
What are you doing?
No, don't. This
Wait. Let's go back. Don't drink bleach. Why? Is that something people are attempting to do to get rid of the virus?
Yes, they heard that bleach cures the virus, and they're drinking it. Or they're drinking various other natural products that they think will protect them against the virus, which is... And it's just craziness. It's like, just wash your hands and stay at home, and in a couple of years, buy a box of gloves.
These particular podcasts are going to be very dated because we're like, what's this virus all about?
Oh yeah, we should release this like a year from now. But yeah, and so that's basically what I'm doing because in our area there's only 1 or 2 There's like a handful of cases in the counties, and so it's not kicked off here yet. We're just doing social distancing. But that's the current case, and we expect that to change. And so that's basically my job now. And so I am tired of talking about this because I talk about it 9 to 5 and then into the night.
Conference call USA.
The solo games for which I've been playing, thank you, whoever the Ucklins are.
Thank you.
Matt Ucklin and the other Ucklin. I can't think of their name. Of Steve. Ion Games. And Sierra Madre Games.
Sierra Mist.
Sent me a box of games for which I talked about that I wanted to play. And they sent me 2 games for which are soloable. You can solo them.
Soloable? Right. Soloable.
Yes, they're not solo handicap. They're soloable.
Soloable. 4 syllables.
Pax Trans-Humanity and Greenland. And so they're small box games that when you open them and they're the few amounts of components that are in them, you're like, okay, this will be easy. And then you get out the little 40-page rule book and you start reading it and you're going, holy cow, I have no idea what this is about. And I had to break down and watch a video of somebody playing Pax Trans-Humanity. It all fit together. And now I have soloed Pax Trans-Humanity. And I must say, the Ucklins are on a different level of design with board games. So looking at BGG, Pax Trans-Humanity has a 4.27 weight rating. So it's almost maxed out. I did not know this before I went to learn it. And in Pax Trans-Humanity, you're an entrepreneur. I like saying entrepreneur. It sounds like I'm French. In which you are trying to basically develop the world. You're trying to solve the super big picture problems of the world. And you do that by investing in certain patents and commercializing certain things and moving the world forward by buying these cards out into this market. I'm not even going to try to explain this game because, like I said, I've just played it solo just once. I will say I am enthralled with how this game.
So you did manage to play it solo because at one point you're like, my mind cannot comprehend this game.
Yes, I read through the rule book and I was lost. Yeah, I was absolutely lost. And then I watched a heavy cardboard playthrough of it where they explained it and played it. And I was like, oh, okay. And then when I started playing it, I realized I have no clue how to win this game. And then I had to go back and look at how do you win this game? What's the purpose of it? What's the strategy of it? And it all fit in. And I was humbled by this game, which I don't get humbled easily, as you well know. I played the second edition of Robinson Crusoe from its poor Polish translation. I put the work in on that. I know how to play a game. I can figure it out. I don't care how complex it is. But this game, truly, the strategy behind it.
You met your match.
I just looked out upon this sea of cards with just 7 actions. Pick an action. And very simple in its presentation, but very complex in its strategy and what you should do.
You're talking about Pax Trans-Humanity, right?
Yes. Okay. And I wanted to play this game because, one, I just backed PAX Premiere, and I'm looking forward to that, hopefully at the end of the year. And I think Captain America said that Pax Trans-Humanity was one of his favorite games of last year. And so I was interested in just getting a hold of it and seeing what it was all about.
Pax means peace. Just FYI.
Yes, Peace Trans-Humanity. It's just, I don't know how somebody can take a deck of cards and some cubes and come up with something so complex.
I remember we discussed this at one point. You're like transhumanity. So are we like turning into cyborgs?
You are basically trying. It is a huge top-down view of humanity, and so like you're literally like one of the things that you're trying to solve is like we're going to fix global warming, and aging, and we're going to travel, and you are looking at something from so far up.
So you're like the Federation, Starfleet, You're fixing the world.
Yes, you are not. You are like the Elon Musk of people. Like you're looking so far ahead and trying to solve big picture problems. Nobody cares about your small world problems. This just I'm shocked by this game. I started learning Greenland as well, which I own the second edition. I accidentally got it in a trade, and I say accidentally, that was the case. And I ended up reading the rule book and trading it off before actually playing it, and I regretted it ever since because it was a game that all the solo players were talking about and everybody saying how amazing it is. They sent me the Greenland third edition, and I am super excited. They're both small box games. They're both very heavy, but I am just pleased by the fact that I know how to play them now. Like I feel like I deserve a medal or a badge that says I know how to play this game. I think I could probably teach you this game. And that's what, and I'm not to where I can give a very thorough review on either one of them, but my preliminary thoughts on them, because I'd like to play them multiplayer, obviously, not just solo, is that they are going to be very rich, meaty games that people who are of the, like they like splatter games, they are able to really delve into the strategy of a game and enjoy the journey just as much as the game. They enjoy learning a game just as much as they enjoy playing a game. Those type of people, you need to look into these. But I'm not there to give a review yet on them. But as for the other solo games that I have been playing and have been playing lots of them, and one of my previous ramblings, I talked about Coffee Roasters and the new edition of Coffee Roasters. I love Coffee Roasters. If you don't have Coffee Roasters, you can get the app. It's very cheap and it's good. The app for Coffee Roasters is actually excellent. Excellent. Really? I'm shocked by how well they did the app.
I like, this isn't, I guess any game on the app can be soloable. I got Jaipur on the app and it's good. It's not very in depth, but
I love playing Jaipur on Board Game Arena. I love Board Game Arena for just a handful of games, and that Stone Age and Jaipur, I play that until I'm sick of it.
I saw somebody post something about Jaipur about, is it possible to strategize?
Yeah.
And I believe you can to a degree. But, at some point you have to take them camels or, you got to take stuff in your hand. And then whenever you take something from the market, whatever flops out there might be exactly what you need, like the gems or the gold or the high end stuff. And you're like, oh, and that gets snatched from you. But I've been playing on the app, they have like 4 different levels. And I played the highest level a couple times now and I've beat it. And I've been surprised. So I don't know if that's a deficiency on the app or maybe I'm getting really good.
That's a deficiency on the app. Here's what I like about BoardGameArena.com.
Oh, dare you.
It is that when you play a game, it ranks you. And so even if you're just playing it casually, it ranks you and says, oh, you're this good at this game. And what I found by playing Jaipur, the same top 10 players stay the same top 10 players. They have the strategy down. And I've played some high-level players over the past several months, and you don't win. Really? They have it down. They know the strategies. I have won one round against a ranked 300 player, I believe. Like you start at 100, and then you gain so many points depending on who you beat. So if you start off at 100, and if you play a 200 player, then they lose a certain amount of points because they lost to a rookie player, and you gain uber amount of points because you beat a big player. And so that's how they do the ranking system. The high-ranked players don't lose. I mean, they stomp you. And so that really impressed upon me that, yes, there is a strategy. Yes, you can have a good starting hand, but the chances of you getting 2 good starting hands in a row and being able to beat a great player is next to nothing. And Jaipur is an amazing 2-player game. It is always.
So I wonder what some basic strategies are. I'll tell you what I do.
Okay.
I try to early on take camels, as many as I can. And then I go for the high end stuff. And then when it gets down to where there's like the coins are starting to disappear, if I feel like I'm in the lead, well, then I make them disappear. So then the game's over.
So the strategies that I've tried, and I don't know if these are correct. I've stolen these from higher ranked players. And
what you got to do? It's called living and learning.
I'm living and learning. Is that you only take camels when you know your opponent's hand is full. Like they can't then take advantage. If you know Jaipur, the display of camels, you take them all and all the cards get refreshed. And so generally you're just taking one card at a time. So one good card comes out. Well, if you have 4 camels out there, you take 4 camels, 4 cards come out, and you run the risk of having high value cards come out there for which they can take. Well, your hand limit's 7. So if your opponent's hand limit is 7, and you take all the camels and all these cards come out, they have to make a difficult decision. Do they start trading out cards they already have for those cards, or what are they going to do?
Well, I found that the app that I play does it. They trade out. Like the app will trade out cards a lot.
Yeah. And all the high level players do it as well. And most of the high level players will get 4 or 5 cards and then sell them in so that they can get the bonus. Like they very rarely sell if they don't get the bonus, unless it's just to clear their hand. And Jaipur is an amazing 2-player game. I think one of these days when we get back together, we're going to have to rank our 2-player games. And I highly suspect that we're going to have to play Star Wars of Rebellion again, because I just have that game so high up in my head as being.
Are you doing 2-player games, or games that are best at 2-player, or just games we like playing 2-player?
I would say just 2-player games, like Watergate, which I really like. I know you don't like.
Well, Star Wars Rebellion is technically not a 2-player game. That's why I asked that.
Yeah. What isn't?
Rebellion. I mean, it has
Rebellion is a 2-player game. You can play it 4-player, but that's a variant.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, that's the variant.
That's the variant. And they even admit that the game is a 2-player game. They shoehorn you can one control the army, one can control the navy, and you can have a 4-player game. No, it is a 2-player game. Yeah. I would say that any game that which you could make any 2-player game a 6, 4, 8-player game, whatever you want, just by saying, okay, I'll take this turn,
team
and
effort.
You take next turn. Yeah. That's stupid. No. Rebellion is a 2-player game. Anybody who plays it 3 or 4-player, it's just because of necessity. What I think that there would be some fun in playing Rebellion, a 4-player game. I would love to be over the Navy and have Enrique over my army, and just see how that would work out. And it's kind of like that 868 Vikings and its interaction between 2-player or 4-player. I mean, it changes up. I don't consider Vikings to be a solely 2-player game, because the game is better with more people. This podcast was supposed to be about my solo games, but we're going to have to do that differently, because we've talked too much about everything.
I also like. Well, we veered into apps. I also like Raiders of the North Sea, the app. It's very nice on iPhone, very smooth, works very well. I've been playing San Juan, all these things that we're doing since we can't be together. Well, but that would go along with solo, because I want to talk about the Masters of Renaissance solo.
Oh, talk about it.
It's not great.
Wow. Okay.
No, it's not far from the type of solo I like. Because literally, you pull out your board, you set it up for as any game, however many players, but you just have your board, and you have 7 round disc chits that are that's Lorenzo. So that plays Lorenzo. And you set up the cards like normal, except Lorenzo has a black cross that goes on the board that represents his I forget what faith. Mm-hmm. And so the game is literally a race. If he gets his faith to the end first, he wins immediately. You lose. If he buys up all of a particular color, there's green, purple, blue, and yellow. If he buys up all of one color, you lose. Or if you get to the faith track end first, you win. Or if you buy 7 cards first, you win. It's the same rules for you winning as it is in the regular game, except in the solo, if he gets to one of those things first, game's over, you automatically lose. Points don't matter. It's just get to the end. If you win first, count up your points, see what your points are. This is the thing I don't like about this game. That part's fine. I understand that. On these chits, it has where he will buy, you subtract 2 of the lowest level card of each. It has, -2 of the blue, -2 of the green. So basically he will take 2 of the purple, 2 of the yellow, or whatever the card is. So those are coming off the board. There's no way. I have seen no way. I think I've purchased at the most 3, maybe 4 cards, and I've played this solo like 10 times now. I see no way in the world that it's possible for me to beat the solo by purchasing cards. It is simply a race up the faith track. The cards I purchase, I'm simply buying them because they have, trade this purple in for 2 faith. I'm just running up the faith. So it kind of just condenses it down into this one aspect of race to faith. And that's it. That's the game. It's okay, but that's it. So, as a solo game, was that your child?
Yes, that was my child.
Daddy.
That was Jack coming in saying, "What are you doing?"
Hey, Jack.
Said, "I'm talking to Gobby."
Nice to see you, Daddy. Talking to Gobby again? You'd rather talk to Gobby than me, Daddy.
My children are not British.
Hey, Jack, what's up?
What are you doing, Jack?
Nothing.
Talking to the microphone. Tell him what you're doing.
Nothing. He's doing
Tell
nothing.
him what you did today.
Mowed the lawn.
There you go. Putting your kids to work. That's good. I like to see that.
Yes. Very nice.
It was raining.
Jerry didn't want to get wet. He's like, get out there and mow the yard, boy.
Yeah, that's the best way. Child labor.
It is. My dad is not. That's not true. Bye.
Okay, bye. So this game is just like, it's literally one aspect of the game. Not nearly as good as with multiple people, obviously. But some games I do prefer solo. Paladins of the West Kingdom. Yeah. I preferred that solo because it cut out all the nonsense, the downtime that comes with playing with other characters. I preferred Paladins. Not a great game in our opinion, but I preferred it solo. Not bad. This game, the solo's not good because it's literally, how do I get my faith to go up faster than his faith? And then, like, even if you win it, it's like, count up your... So it's like scoring your points against your previous points made last time you won. Yeah. And that's just... It's very pedestrian. It's one of those where you say, it was just tacked on.
Just walk it off. I don't think Masters of Renaissance was... that solo game aspect of it has been tacked on. And that comes along. I don't know if you realize this, but one of your games of last year that you really enjoyed, Abomination.
Yes.
They just released a solo for it.
I saw that.
And the guy who did the solo for it, I think his name is, don't quote me on this, is it John Manker or something of that nature? He's the same guy who did the solo for Pax Trans-Humanity. Uh-huh. So he's like a legit solo artist, I guess you could say.
Kind of like David Turksey.
Like Turksey, and there's several others that do that.
Morton Peterson for Stonemaier.
Yeah, they do their own thing where they come up with making their own solo. They take a game and say, I'm going to make a solo for it. And so that might be looking into.
I wonder who designed the red solo cup.
Oh, probably somebody who enjoyed day drinking and didn't want to have people see what he was drinking.
Toby Keith did, obviously.
Toby Keith. No, I would say Jimmy Buffett.
Jimmy Buffett.
I can't think of the name Jimmy Buffett. I can't think of Jimmy Buffett without thinking of a buffet, which makes me think of Golden Corral, which makes me think, why would anybody eat there? Speaking of apps, I've been playing Eclipse on the app. It's not a great rendition. I keep using musical terms. It's not a great port of the game into the app, but it's still kind of has that feel. And the more I played it and the more I overlook its flaws, the more I've enjoyed it. And I love Eclipse, and it's of the old Eclipse, so it has the same aesthetic, and it's very nostalgic to me because I liked the first edition of Eclipse.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, and which
that's a word I like.
Would love to have the new version of it, but I just can't justify buying it.
Nostalgia.
What
does Gia mean?
Nostalgia will get you.
What is the GIA at the end of words? I feel like that's a suffix that has meaning to it.
Suffix isn't that where Dan Hughes is from? Suffix? Or no, that's Sussex. No, that's Yorkshire. Suffix. I don't know. Yorkshire. Or Huntington. I don't know where anybody lives in England. It's all just one big mispronounced country. I don't know. I think since they invented English, they should be able to determine how you pronounce things in English. That's just my take
using
on it.
Things.
Yeah, that's just my thing. I'm not big on the U's. I don't understand the U's
or emus. You're not big on sheep. Not big on the U's.
I would appreciate you doing a trigger warning before you talk about emus for all of our veterans of the 1932 Emu War. Okay, we have Australian listeners. Show some respect.
I'm sorry.
People have their grandfathers lost their eyeball being pecked out by a rabid emu in the Emu Wars.
Rabid emus. That's a horror movie waiting to be made.
I don't think emus can get rabies. I'm not sure. Don't quote me.
One long day, just a bunch of rabid emus running around attacking people. Isn't there, now, not to get dark, but can't like ostriches like disembowel you, kind of like the velociraptor?
I have never seen personally someone disemboweled by an emu or ostrich, but I would assume like
they got that big leg kick. I think they can kill you with that big foot claw.
The foot claw, their big toenail.
The big toe.
I like to grow my toenail out and then kind of file it down.
What you know, big toe?
Yeah, you never know.
The big toe, the captain of the toes, according to George Costanza.
Yeah. Well, I got to get off here.
Yes, your child's up. He wants to be fed, Jerry. Feed your children.
I know. It's noon. It's noon. He knows it's time for dinner.
I just see your children. I see your children like baby birds with just their mouths up, their heads up, their mouths open, and you're like trying to feed them.
That's all I do. You
just baby emus.
You drop moistened pieces of sandwich down their gullet. That's how you do. We're having tuna today, children. This is Jerry. It was nice hearing from y'all, or it was nice for you to hear us. Weird. Send us an email if you want us to hear you.
Yes, it'd be nice to hear from everybody. All right, this is Gabby. Right. We'll holler at you later. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.